His neighbors called him insane, but it was this craziness that saved his home. To what extent could you attempt to safeguard your home from any catastrophe? While certain individuals are determined to confront and acknowledge their destiny against floods and cyclones, others take totally crazy measures to guard their home and their friends and family. Their neighbors and spectators might call them insane, yet in certain situations, they are left to rescind everything that was said and trust in karma. This is precisely the same thing that happened to one man. In May 2016, as record-breaking storms cleared across Texas, occupants started to accumulate blocks and get ready for absolutely horrible. Climate forecasts had informed that Texas was amidst 7 days in length tempest and weighty downpours. The tempests were going straightforwardly towards the Brazoria area. North of 19 creeps of downpour had poured down in under 24 hours. The tempest wasn't giving any indications of blurring. Streets were being washed away, a few groups lost their lives, and whole areas sank submerged. Brazoria area inhabitants started to assemble their stuff and chalk out ways of clearing. In any case, Randy Wagner had different plans. This man from Reshirin was predominantly worried for his home and family. Randy volunteered to do everything in his ability to save his home. To search for every single endeavor to save it, he frantically rummaged the web for arrangements. After having gone through numerous sites, Randy went over a site called Water Dam. The site sold colossal cylinders that could be loaded up with water to make a dam-like boundary. The weight and mass of these watertight inflatables professed to be sufficient to frame a productive blockade against any storm. They likewise professed to settle the issues that accompanied setting blockades to keep water from going into houses. To Randy, everything sounded stunning, excessively great to be valid. He had never known about anybody utilizing the water dams previously. Yet, as he would have done anything for his home, he chose to check it out. He bought a 30-inch tall and 450 featuring long water dam for around $8,300. He made an amazing 520-mile full circle to Louisiana to get the 800-pound contraption. This while, he frantically sought divine intervention that he would successfully return to the Brazoria area before the tempest released its outburst. After 3 days, water started to flood the whole land around everybody's homes. Randy and 2 of his relatives started carrying out the long cylinder. They situated it defensively around their family home. They utilized 2 gas siphons and water from a close-by lake for the cylinder. They started to expand the 2 inward containers of the long elastic-like obstruction and filled it with water. In a portion of a day, their security was prepared. This was finished out in the open, around his home. His neighbors watched on as Randy quickly attempted to collect his dam. When they understood what he was doing, they began snickering and giggling at him. They derided his thought and said it was absolutely impossible that this thing would save his home from the floods. Notwithstanding being taunted and disparaged, Randy wouldn't focus on their criticism. He had committed all his confidence in his weird contraption. After the dam was spread out, he returned to his family inside and they hung tight for the tempest. By June, the Brasov stream bit by bit started to expand. It immediately overwhelmed the close-by locales. The scale was serious to the point that a fiasco statement was given. A huge number of unfortunate occupants had no real option except to clear their homes. As pictures and clasts from the impacted regions were communicated around the country, the reality and power of the situation were out in plain view. All houses, of all shapes and sizes, were flooded and were in an extremely sorry state. But Randy's house was high and dry. His home looked as normal as could be, similar to a dry green oasis in flooded muddy waters. Evidently, Randy's crazy plan had worked. The waters in the area had risen to just about 27 inches. In any case, that wasn't sufficient to break the 30-inch tall dam. The $8,300 spent on the dam presently appeared to be a negligible sum. Cleaning and fixing an overwhelmed house can cost around $150,000. In this way, Randy had successfully saved an astounding $141,700. He didn't actually need to use his flood protection. The floods had unleashed devastation on north of 1,500 homes in the area. In the wake of scorning Randy for his water dam, it was for sure Randy who triumphed ultimately after the tempest retreated. Randy's capacity to consider out the crate just saved him and his family their dear house. Afterward, the very individuals that had snickered at him were presently powerful, dazzled with Randy's inventiveness and the adequacy of the water dam. Afterward, the finish, all things considered, Randy stayed humble and said he was thankful to God for showing him the method for saving his home. Randy was very dazzled with the manner in which the water dam had helped him, and couldn't resist the opportunity to praise it enthusiastically.